Welcome back to Open Line. Elder law is the topic. We're talking with Tim Takis, elder law attorney. Really, and I love you said on the break, you have the best job in the world.
I do.
I do. Why do you feel that?
Yeah, every day, like you were saying, is that everything, every day is new, everything is different, but ultimately it gets down to someone is walking into my office, and it's often a child that is worried about, how am I going to plan for mom or dad or whoever. How am I going to make sure their needs are going to be met? And I say, I got the best job in the world because my job is to help them take care of their mom.
Help take care of mom.
Right.
Which is,
it's not really fancy. It's like I say that's like 7 or 8 words, all of one syllable.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Doing my work. That's what I do. That's what I do every day. Is help someone take care of their mom or their loved one or their spouse or whatever it is.
But it weighs so heavily on so many people, and it's so complicated.
Right.
In this world, and it's so expensive.
Yeah, and you have people like, I think about the spouses that, the husbands or the wives that walk into my office and they're going, I'm taking care of my husband, and it's for better or for worse, and now it's for worse, but I'm going to be here as long as I can. But what happens if something happens to me? Who's going to take care of my husband? And it's like, okay, we're going to have a plan for that. And we're going to make sure that she's taken care of too, because we worry about her as much as if she's taking the 85-year-old wife who's taking care of the 87-year-old husband who has Alzheimer's disease, and she's deathly afraid, that if my husband goes to the nursing home, then we're going to lose everything. And we're saying is no, we're going to make sure that it's, that it's going to be paid for, that there are spousal protections that we know that if your husband needs long-term care, that you're going to be able to save, you're not going to be out in the streets. I have people that walk in and they say, well, just because, my husband gets on in the nursing home and Medicaid starts paying, they're just going to get everything in the end, right? And I say, no.
That is the big concern.
The state's not going to take your house.
That's the big concern.
Just because your husband's in the nursing home, the state, when the wife dies, the state's not going to take their house. People always want to leave something to their, or most of the time, they want to leave something to their children, their family. They feel like that's the right thing for them to do.
If they've worked hard all their
and there are
life.
Options for that they don't have to lose everything. Mm-hmm. And those are the kind of things that we work with families, and but most of them, they want to make sure that their loved one's taken care of. Are they getting the care that they need, and how are we going to pay for that? And that's the kind of stuff that that we do every day.
And I like what you said, that yes, okay, so the children, they want to take care of mom. Mom is your client, as you've said. Mom is the client.
Right.
Mom also wants to make sure she can take care of her kids still, in whatever way possible.
Right.
And let's say she has worked hard and has some money. She doesn't want it all to go away.
Right.
So she may say, I'm going to gift some of this to my kid, or I'm going to give it all to my kid. I'm going to give my house to my kid. I don't know. They want to do stuff.
They want to do stuff, and they want to do it the right way.
Right.
Right, because and that's what's sort of interesting about the generational thing. Really interesting stuff, because you have, the 60-year-old something. The people my age, I turned 60 last year, so it's like, yippee, I can start taking money out of my retirement plan, and don't pay a penalty. But the thing is that but I've got an 85-year-old mother, and my mother is in good health. Fortunately, she lives up in Lexington, and my sister is up there, who is a little younger than I am, and so it's great, And what I want to see for my mother, is that she's taken care of. And people our age, that's what we want. Now, often the people my mother's age, they grow up thinking that, well, I want to make sure that I'm taken care of, but I don't waste all the money on me. That's sort of my mother's attitude. She says, well, if I get bad off, just put me in front of a Mack truck. And I'm going, wait a minute.
She doesn't want to spend $8,000 a month.
That's exactly. And I'm
down.
saying is, what I want her to do is I want her to make sure that she's takes care of herself, that she's well taken care of, she has a good quality of life, and if there's something left for my brother and my sister and I, fine. But people our age, we do want to make sure, despite what people think that, well, I just want to get everything that I can, that most of the children that are walking into my office, that's their attitude is that I want to make sure that my mom or dad is taken care of. And if there is something left, then that's fine too. Yeah, but it's also part, when you start thinking about it, Ben, it's also, there's a little bit of self-interest here.
Absolutely.
You know, because if my mother if she uses her money and if she takes care of herself, that means I don't have to do it. Right? I mean, we want our loved one, we want our parents to be taken care of. We want them to take care of themselves. Yeah, we'll step up to the plate if there's no other options. But we want them to use their money and their property for, to use it for themselves first. But we also want them to use it wisely, and that's part of what we do for a living is that we help the clients, we help the families say, well, how do we make sure that we're not spending $8,000 a month when we could spend $6,000,
right,
or maybe only $3,000? What are our options for that?
Let's go to Sue. Hello, Sue.
Hi, Dan. I've got a question of Tim, and you might be interested in this as well, Ben, in terms of investigative reporting. I've attended one of the seminars that this firm that I think they're located all over the country. They're doing a lot of advertising in the Tennessean on Sundays, and basically they give you a free lunch or free dinner, and then they try to sell you a package that they sell you at a reduced rate if you sign on that night and that afternoon. And the price seems, depending on, it's sort of like a one-size-fits-all thing, and they don't have any bad ratings from the Better Business Bureau or anything like that, but it sounds a little fishy, so I kind of like some more information about that. The other thing is I should say that I'm looking for someone to help me with estate planning and determine whether I need anything beyond a will, such as a trust. And there's one attorney in particular who says that he is about the only estate planner in the state that has credentials from the National Association of Estate Planners and Councils and the Middle Tennessee Estate Planning Council. And I kind of looked into those organizations, and I couldn't find anything other than maybe, the fact that they're kind of like advocacy organizations and that this guy would know his stuff, but I don't know that would put him above and beyond anyone else. And since you don't practice in Nashville, I wonder if you could recommend some estate planning attorneys that do.
Well,
Right,
of course,
thank you.
of course, I have clients from all over Middle Tennessee that walk into my office to do estate planning. Of course, my office is in Hendersonville, and so it's not that hard to get to. But Sue mentioned several topics, and I think I know who that. The firm it is that they're talking about, where and those firms, they tend to pop up from time to time. Like probably 15 or 20 years ago, there were, the firms that were doing revocable trusts. We would see ads in the newspaper that says, well, come to our informational session at, the local restaurant, that you can, the Shoney's or whatever it is that that you can go, and it's a free, and we will we'll serve you lunch, and I recognize the little patter. It's the same sort of thing. Is that they're looking to fill their calendar, and they're saying as well, our regular price for this is $199 or whatever it is. I always tell, like, when I see that the retail pricing, it's not $200, it's $199.
Yep.
You start looking at that, and you're going, no, wait a minute, where did you come up with those numbers? Then it's like, because they want to be a retail, so make it look like it's, like you're just like buying something off the rack or what. But I mean, but I see that, in the discounting thing that I see. Now, is their legal work good? I have no way of knowing. I've seen those advertisements. I see what they I see what they're offering. Now, are they good lawyers? Are they not good lawyers? Is it one size fits all? My experience is that, from time to time I see some of the older stuff coming in. Ones that were doing 10 or 15 or 20 years ago. Where they have blanks for the dates, and somebody has like a little. Like one of those little things that you turn and you put the dates in because they can't even, and it's like, and they have like the overstuffed fake leather binders, all that sort of thing that it just, for someone that, like me, that looks at estate planning as a commodity, and that's really what it is, and what we like to think of is that, our, estate planning is it's not something that's all, that needs to be top of mind for everybody, but it's a process, that the documents are the end result of, some conversations and, that we have with our clients, about what their wishes are and what their objectives are and what they think they would like to do. And that's stuff that doesn't necessarily go into one of those types of programs.
Somebody like Sue, they had concerns about who they're dealing with in any variety of things.
Yeah.
She's talking about the restaurant thing, or even somebody to help with the kind of planning she's talking about. Where do you go to vet these?
Yeah, and one of the things now that, I guess it's been distressing for me since I've been doing, I'm starting to sound like an old fogey, but in a way, since I've been doing it for a while. But one of the things that I've seen over the last 20 years or so is that people go to continuing legal education or continuing education programs not to get education, but to get certificates. Mm-hmm. So that they can say that I'm a certified, something advisor or whatever, where, and I've seen even several years ago in the, like for instance, the SEC and the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, regularly puts out bulletins that says, watch out for not necessarily bogus certifications, but certifications that people get by, you write in and you send them some money and they send you back some, literature or whatever it is, and they tell you to, take this test or whatever, open book test, and you send it back, and then they get a certificate. And like she says, is that one of the big things is that, well, I'm certified in estate planning. I mean, I've seen people talk about that. Estate planning is such a broad subject. It doesn't say that you're a lawyer.
Right.
I mean, I know, some of the non-lawyer planners out there are talking about them being certified in estate planning, or I have a degree in estate planning. It's like, well, okay. What does that mean? It means like basically nothing.
So you need to
it's hard.
go to somebody that you trust. I mean, it is. It can be a complicated, difficult thing. All right, Sue, thank you for that call. We have another call online. We're going to take a break. If you want to call in, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.